I'm Kyra Ann Dawkins. Welcome to the creative side. We have cookies. But basically, effectively, I had the absolute privilege of joining the Creator Institute. Holy smokes, it's been a minute. I want to say it was September of 2019, which is wild.
Crazy,
that feels like yesterday, but also so long ago because of the abyss that was 2020. And I published my debut novel. I will say that all people love stories. And so I was able to find my people by just articulating what core aspects motivate me. I am motivated by oral tradition, oral history. I am motivated by my experience as a Black woman in the United States. Like, there are things that, particularly when it comes to finding your people, and as you're writing your story also, don't necessarily think that you have to shape your story around what it needs to become. Just be yourself and let what you're producing come out of you, and people will respond to the genuineness of that. I guess if somebody were to ask me what genre is Louis in the Day, I would now say speculative fiction or dystopian, but even that has a little bit of looseness to it, which people enjoy engaging with. So I would encourage a lot of you to do the same. It becomes a little bit more clear in time, but usually through having conversations with other people, responding to you being yourself.
Yeah. I remember one of the things, and I remember your work through your author's note was a really it was a process that kind of really pushed you to figure out a little bit more about you, your audience, where you were writing behind it. Why was that act of, for those doing nonfiction, it's more your intro, but for a creative author, this author's note is a powerful one. How did that help you find your voice and weave yourself into the story?
I really love that question because it was so important. The author's note was so important to me from an organizing perspective, because at first I was trying to, at first when I was writing my book, I saw that I was looking over it. Yes, I am the author. I get to move this piece and this piece and this piece, and everything is sort of decontextualized. But in writing the author's note, to your point, Professor Custer, I was wait a minute, not only is this coming, am I producing this, I'm in this.
Yeah.
And I think that was very important to it's kind of particularly now, as you're inspired to, or you're called to write your inspiration story before you really launch into different aspects of the writing process. I would say that it helped me, because if I had not, first of all, from an author's note perspective, author's notes are important because your reader wants to feel seen. You sharing your story for the sake of sharing a story is great, but who do you imagine turning the pages? Who do you imagine lingering on words? Readers wanting to feel seen, and you as the author wanting to see your readers, will just make the story resonate all the more for you and for anybody else who engages with it.
Yeah.
And so the author's note was critical for me because it reminded me that I'm in the story, and it reminded me that it's a story that belongs not just to me, but to anyone.